Okay, so, holy shit, there's a massive glare. I don't know if it's gonna, no. Oh well, this part really is important. Basically, I'm just gonna say, like, I'm trying a pocket knife again. It's been over a year since my last attempt, and I think my skills have improved a lot, so hopefully this won't go well. I've also acquired some more interesting materials than I've been using in the past, so, you know, we'll see. Although, for starters, I am just scrap chunk of leaf spring, because, you know, that's how I do things. But my main plan is I'm just going to thin it out in the forge, widen it a bit, and make it a little bit wider, probably a little longer, just that's how it's going to go. And then just cut it from there. I know I'll probably say forged in the title because it kind of is, but it really kind of isn't at the same time. You know, whatever. But I've got plans for this, trying some new things, so we'll see how it goes. But for starters, yes, spring steel, so it's going to be kept oiled. But stainless steel is expensive, so I'm using what I've got. And most of this build is going to be stuff I just have sitting around my shop, so, you know, we'll see how it goes. Okay, so I've got the blade kind of ground flat. I'll have to refine it a little bit, but for now, I'm gonna start shaping the blade. It's gonna be about 4 inches long, roughly. I have kind of a rough drawn out of what the handle's gonna be like, or where it's gonna fit into the handle at least. Then my blade shape. Again, this is just kind of a rough sketch. A lot of this stuff, I'll probably have to file down after I have the thing, or the handle scales, not the scales, but the metal inserts for it made. I'm making them out of some stainless steel that I've salvaged. So hopefully that'll work. But yeah, I had to look at a bunch of different pocket knives. This is an old one I made that didn't really turn out very well to kind of get an idea of what I was doing. So we'll see how this turns out. Okay, so I got my blade shaped. Probably, shit. Try not to do that. This thing's in heat treated yet, so hopefully it didn't, should be good. Okay, so blade is shaped, and I'll probably still have to, you know, file down some stuff here, do a little bit more shaping. I don't know how that's gonna go, but I'll probably do that after everything's made and do a little bit of fine tuning, as I always seem to have to do. But not bad. It's about, I think it's gonna end up with like a 4-inch blade, which for a pocket knife is fairly decent size, really. Also, I have a 1/4 inch hole here, because what I'm going to be using for the kind of like the pin it rotates on, can't remember off the top of my head what that is, even though I should know it. But what's going to rotate on is going to be a 1/4 inch, so I'll work on that in a little bit. Now what I'm going to do is kind of sketch out what I need on my stainless steel and get back to you. Okay, so kind of got this sort of done up. I still have to do a little bit of filing on the blade to get it to actually, you know, function properly. But essentially, yeah, it's kind of how it's going to work. I have a little screw in there that basically acts as a stopper. So what I'm going to do now is actually like kind of grind this to shape. I want to have all my stuff in so I can have it consistently on both sides. Then I'm going to cut out this little tab here, cut in a little slit there, and have a way to fold it in. I'll probably just take a torch, heat it up, fold it in. Might attempt to temper it. I don't know yet. But, I mean, I'll probably temper it somehow. But, basically, yeah, that's how it's planned so far. I broke my tap trying to make that. This is literally just thin, cheap, 303, I think it's 303, stainless steel, so it's not fancy, and it broke a tap on it. So, that's how my day's going. But, once I get that done, I also need to make, like, a piece back here to kind of act like a separation. I'll probably... Well, I won't tap that like I planned on it because my tap is broken, but, yeah, I'll figure that out. The drill bit came with the tap, too, so it's not like the tap was too small. Okay, so I have everything cut out, shaped the way I want it to. I went ahead and just cut this, folded in, works pretty well. I also drilled and tapped this little hole here just for the screw, just so I have something to flick the blade open. Everything actually lined up pretty well. I was expecting to sit with a file for an hour to try and get everything to work, and I didn't, so that's good. So the blade base just needs heat treated and sanded out, but due to time constraints and me trying to get things done, I'm going to skip to making handle scales because I'm going to have to make those and then set them aside because I'm doing something I have never done before and hope I don't fuck it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take fabric and fiberglass resin, layer it together like you do with those materials, and make kind of a improvised micarta. I think it's actually a brand stuff, but I was looking into it and it's essentially either paper or fabric layered together and using resin or epoxy to put together. So I'm like, well, I have both of those, and since this is basically stuff I got at my local, actually farm supply store, not hardware store, and stuff I just kind of lying around, I figure it's perfect. So I'm gonna go see how that works. Probably won't film it, just paint on fiberglass resin with, you know, mixed together. I mean, I would usually film it, but it's getting late and I have a lot to do. So I'll get back to you when that's done and see, you know, what happens. Personally, I'd probably just buy the scales. It'd probably be easier and maybe even cheaper if you don't already have the material. Okay, so there's a bit of a jump, I know. Time restraints and all that. But basically, I can have everything sort of mocked up. I've got those. I actually just made a piece of metal, cut, sanded. It was kind of a pain to do. Pinned it in place, sort of. Hopefully the scales will help even everything out. And just have a bolt in there temporarily, holding it together. Not gonna lie, I actually think this is turning out pretty nice. Hopefully it'll be a little bit tighter once I have everything actually assembled. But, let's see if I can do it. The locking mechanism works. Still a little loose, but you know, everything's, again, just kind of loosely held together at the moment. So, it does actually lock though, and so far it's a pretty nice knife. So what I'm going to do now is heat treat and temper this. Hopefully that won't take long. And then I'm going to glue on my scales. Probably just do that offset. which I actually have. They look like crap, not gonna lie. I actually sanded down one side just to kind of rough it up. I don't know how I'm gonna actually do this, like I didn't expect it to look quite this rough, and then when you sand it, it looks like that. But I'll figure it out, even if I had to like go to like some 2,000, 3,000 grit sandpaper and just polish it, maybe go to a buffing wheel and give it a nice shine. I'll figure out something. But first all I'm gonna do is take this apart and heat treat the blade. Okay, so I have everything glued together. I went ahead and just took a scroll saw and just kind of cut it out to shape. Honestly, it turned out a little better than I thought it was just looking at it. Again, still going to sand this down so it doesn't look like this. This one I actually have sanded shaped where it actually fits the way I want it to. And just need to do the same with this one. Once I get that done, of course, sand this down to where it's doesn't look like this. And basically then I should just need to assemble it once I get the blade finished. That finishes kind of do the boring part of sanding it out, but it should be done from there. So yeah, I'm gonna finish shaping this and hopefully be done, and maybe get some sleep. I've been up late every night working on this thing for the past like few days. So, I just realized I forgot to film all of that. Basically, I just threaded that rod, put some screws in after I put in the center, have a couple spacers in there to hold everything, you know, together. And it's actually done. I like it. It's a little loose though, but for considering the other pocket knives I made, this actually turned out really well. So, and for the first time ever making these like synthetic scales, they're not the nicest looking, but I'm used to leather and wood, so for synthetic, this actually turned out pretty decent. So as a learning experience, I like the way it turned out. So, and it locks in. It's hard to do at this angle. There it goes. Okay, I should probably like do something about that, but yeah, that's got able to sharpen and got yourself a nice kind of everyday carry pocket knife. Again, probably not the, you know, highest dollar on the market or highest one on the market, but it's also, you know, a lot better than a lot of the $20 ones most of the people I know seem to carry. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I'm gonna go do pocket knife things, I guess. Thanks for watching.